It's a beautiful Friday today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everyone to the Fresh Fun Health Day. Today it's going to be a wonderful day. I know outside the weather is beautiful. You know I love me some beautiful morning weather, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, whether it's raining, whether it's clear, I don't mind. I'm just thankful that I'm up to see the beautiful weather today. I hope you're happy that you're up this morning, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you happy that you're up this morning? Thank God for life. We are up and running and we can enjoy another beautiful day. Outside the weather is fresh and clean. The air is smooth. Really nice air to breathe in the morning time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, I hope you're doing. Oh, I love to see it. Look, the love is going up in the chat already. I love to see it. Good morning to you, my red carpet walkers. You guys are celebrities in the house. Abby Smith, good morning to you, my girl. Connie Langine and Siobhan Clark, Avenel McKenzie, Lurleen O'Malley, Jerry Collado all the way from the Philippines, Davika Van Leeuwen from Guyana, Liz Braslon, we got Minetta Campbell and Julian Griffin, Joan Hola is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, Florence Sturton, good morning to you, Mommy Florence, Kenneth is in the house, good morning, Hudge, Charmin Boyce, we got Judith Legendra, we got Suzette Neptune Fortune and Cecilia George, Ian Critchlow is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, Edwin Tulsi and Ruby Richards, yeah, Corette Hercules, Gail Archibald and Roseman Robertson, big up to every single one of you. We got Diana John on the inside as well, Alice Solomon, we got Hendrix, my man, good morning Hendrix, you know you make my day, man. Yeah, I can't go through calling a whole list of names and not call Hendrix. Hendrix, you're the man. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Yuti Lynch, you're in the house as well. Good morning to you. That's what I'm talking about. Oh boy, good morning to you, Van Turen. Boy, yeah, guys, know that you guys are celebrities. You guys are celebrities. I know I won't be able to call everybody's name, but Gita Mirage, Sandra Stewart, good morning, guys. You know, you guys are celebrities. You guys are really encouraging to me every single morning, you know. And when I call your name every morning, well, everybody start knowing who Sandra Stewart is. Everybody know who's Elshot Richards. Everybody knows Gita Mirage and Florence Sturton because you're hearing that name calling in your head every single morning, isn't it? Yeah, well, that's how it go. Yeah, but we come here to have a good time. It's all about dropping the positivity and dropping really good vibes. You know, I like to drop the vibes to keep you alive, but also we like to drop information that gives you, you know, that benefits you, brings good value to you, that helps you live a better life. That's what we're all about in the morning time, isn't it? So Fresh Fun Health Day is what we're packing for you today, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're ready to go. All right, we got our boy Chetwayo back with us this morning, ladies and gentlemen, to drop some really good stuff. You know, the last time Chetwayo was on the session, he blew our minds, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, we're not telling you this is what you got to do. We're not telling you to do this. We're just bringing information to you, and it is up to you if you want to try it or not. All right, guys, this is not for you to, we are not telling you this is what you have to do. This is what you need to do. No, we're bringing information to you, and you can be able to discern whether you want to try that or not, right? Also, we'll be giving you some information so that you can contact our professional health and fitness coach in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So Chetwayo is back, and we're going to be having a good time with him. But before we do so, you know, we got to allow the blood to start running through the veins. I know some of you just rolling off the bed, pulling off the covers. You know, some of you watching the show, brushing your teeth in slow motion. You know, but we got to get the blood running, and we'll sing a few songs to get the blood pumping this morning. All right, let's go. Unto thee, O Lord. Come on. Do I lift up my soul? Yeah. Unto thee, O Lord. Sing with me. Do I lift up my soul? Oh my God. Come on. I trust in you. Yeah. Let me not be ashamed. Now let my enemies triumph over me. Oh, unto thee, O Lord. Good morning, Lucy Fraser. Do I lift up my soul? Yeah, unto thee, O Lord. Sing. Do do I lift up my soul. Well, oh my God, say, I trust in you. Well, so let me not be afraid, nor let my enemies triumph over me. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, let's get some real vibes pumping inside here now. Jesus' name so sweet, Emmanuel name so sweet. Jesus' name, good morning Gladys Miller. Emmanuel name so, hey, say every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name so sweet. Every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name so sweet. Jesus' name so sweet. Emmanuel name so sweet. Jesus' name so sweet. Emmanuel name so sweet. Say every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name so sweet. Every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name. Come on. Well, my Jesus' name so sweet. Emmanuel name so sweet. Jesus' name so sweet. Emmanuel name so sweet. And every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name so sweet. Every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name so sweet. Say every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name so sweet. Every time I walk I talk about Jesus. Jesus' name so sweet. Yeah. Whew. I feeling the vibes this morning. I feeling the vibe this morning. All right, Oliver, stick around because we're gonna have a good vibe this morning. Let's go. Restore my spirit, Lord. I need restored. My heart is weary. Please help me, dear Lord. Come on, I stand in need of more strength from your word. Renew my love, rebuild my faith, or restore my soul. Restore my spirit, Lord. I need a restore. Come on, my heart is weary. Please help me, dear Lord. Sing, I stand in need of more strength from your word. Renew my love, rebuild my faith, or restore my soul. Yeah, restore my soul, restore my spirit. Let's sing this one. Lord, I lift your name on high. Come on. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. Yeah. I'm so glad you came to save us. Sing, you came from heaven to earth. Come on. To show the way from the earth to the cross. My debt you paid, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Sing, say, Lord, I lift your name on high. Yeah, Lord, I love to sing your praises. Come on, say, I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. Well, you came from heaven to earth to show the way from the earth to the cross. My debt you paid, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Sing one more time. You came from heaven to earth to show the way from the earth to the cross. My debt you paid, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. From the grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name on high. Well, goodbye world, oh Lord, I stay no longer with you. Goodbye, pleasures of sin. Yeah, I stay no longer with you. I've made up my mind to go God's way the rest of my life. I hope you're with me. I've made up my mind to go God's way the rest of my life. Goodbye, world. Sing goodbye, world. Goodbye, world. I stay no longer with you. Goodbye, pleasures of sin. Well, I stay no longer with you. I've made up my mind to go God's way the rest of my life. Singing, oh, I've made up my mind to go God's way the rest of... Come on. I've made up my mind, I've made up my mind to go God's way the rest of my life. Singing, oh, I've made up my mind to go God's way the rest of my life. Wow, wow. I got to drop a little favorite here before we bring on our guests. Let's sing one more song, ladies and gentlemen. Let's sing one more. Hey, good morning to you, Ruby Richards. Glad you're on the inside. And Avril Jean-Jacques. Hey, big up to you guys. Good vibes. Loving it. That's what I'm talking about, Liz. Yeah. Let's sing one more. To the rock. To the rock. Sing to the rock. Good morning to you, Janae Silva. To the rock. To the rock, sing to the rock. Come on. To the hem I cry, oh Lord, attend on to my, to the rock. Hey, to the rock, sing to the rock. To the, from the ends of the earth will I cry unto, to the rock. To the rock, sing to the rock. And when my heart is overwhelmed, Lord, lead me to the rock. Come on. That is higher than to the rock. To the rock. Come on. To the, that is higher than to the rock. To the rock, sing to the rock, will, for thou hast been a shelter for, to the, thank you, Hendrickson, to the rock, sing to the rock, to the, and the strong tower, come on, from the inner to the rock, hey, to the rock, sing to the rock, well, when my heart is overwhelmed, Lord, lead me to the rock that is higher than I, that is higher than to the rock, sing to the rock. To the rock, sing to. All right, guys. This is what we're going to do. Let's take a quick break, and as we come back, we will introduce to you the speaker for this morning, the one to talk to us on fats and sugar, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to introduce him to you in just a while. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back. All right. Well, we're ready to rumble, and I hope you are too, because this morning we're going to be jumping into another session, part 2 of Chetwayo Borde. He is back on the scene to drop some real good vibes for us. I hope you got your pen and your paper. I hope you're ready to take some notes, because it's just information. And guys, listen, this is information for you, and you can use it if you like, all right? And if you need more information, then on the screen, you can see the contact information for Chetwayo. You got his number. You can visit him on WhatsApp. You can check him on his website, Facebook, on Instagram. You can find him all over the place. And there's only one person with that name in the world. I'm still amazed at that. And only one person with that name, well, at least in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, you might find some Chetwayos in Africa. If you go down deep in the Tumba, Africa, if you go down deep in Africa, you might find a little Chetwayo or two, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys. Well, we're ready to go. We're ready to bring on our guest, the man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take some time, sit back and let him roll, because he's going to bring some good stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me this morning, the man, the one and only, the professional, the fitness and I lost my whole thing there, you know. The health and fitness professional, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say fitness and wellness. Is like, where you get fitness and wellness, Leon? All right, let's go. The man himself, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome this morning, Chetwayo Borde. Give it up for your boy Chetwayo Borde this morning, ladies and gentlemen. The man with a big beard and the man that ain't scared. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Chet, what's happening, my man?
Hi, morning.
Hey, good to have you back, boy. Good to have you back. You know,
always great on the introductions.
You know, the last time you came, you blew so much minds, boy. So I'm glad to have you back, you know, so that we can deal with some more stuff, get some more information about what is happening with our bodies and how we can go about taking care of that. All right. So it's great vibes. How you feeling this morning? How you doing? I know you tell me
excellent as usual.
Excellent as usual. This morning we talking and you tell me, well, boy, you're in exercise for the week. You just wanted to put in a little something just to say exercise. You know, the man in exercising, but the man looking ripped, the man looking like if he in the gym 24/7, ladies and gentlemen. I still can't understand that. I cannot understand that for the life of me. But nonetheless, he is working on diet, nutrition. That is all he is. He is big on that. All right. So it seems as though diet has a major part, bigger than what we think. Diet has a major part in our livelihood, in our living, in our health, our physique, everything about that. All right. This morning, what we're going to talk about, Chet?
I'm going to touch a little bit on sugar and fats. So try to understand it a little better, because those are areas that are things that we consume. Well, not me, I don't consume all of those. I don't consume sugar, but other people consume sugars and people consume fat. So if they get a better understanding of it, then they can make better choices with regards to their nutritional decisions. Right? And that could go a long way with regards to health, because that's where the major problem stems from. Right.
Sugars and fats. Nice. All right. That sounds interesting, because almost everything has sugar in it. Almost everything we eat, I should say. All right. We love that little sweet taste in the mouth. We love that little sweet. All right. And what was interesting to me is that not everything that tastes sweet is filled with sugar, or is going to break down as sugar in the body. You know, and that was very interesting to me. So it doesn't have to be sweet. You know, we would choose, okay, I want to ease off the sugar, so I would ease off the things that are sweet, Chet, you know, and consume something else, probably like a slice of bread. You know, it's amazing how much sugar bread has, more than some of the things that we eat that are sweet. And wow. So it's kind of interesting that we eat sugar and we don't know we're eating sugar. So I'll leave it to you to, you know, give the breakdowns and the here and there's, and let's hear what we got about fats and sugar. Where you want to start?
All right. So with regards to sugar, to help us understand sugar a little bit, we know most people view sugar as this soluble carbohydrate. Soluble carbohydrates, because when we hear the term sugar, we focus more on granulated sugar and brown sugar. So those, those forms of what we call simple sugar. But I like to educate people on the full spectrum of sugar, because sugar would fall into the category of saccharides. And there are 3 types of saccharides. You have your monosaccharide, your disaccharides, and your polysaccharides. Brown sugar, granulated sugar, those are what we call monosaccharides, which are simple sugars, because they have one sugar molecule. So just the glucose, all right? So they just have one sugar molecule. There are some sugars that are disaccharides, which have more than one sugar molecule. They have 2, and you will find that in fruits. So things like sucrose, which is found in fruits. And then you have the polysaccharides, which are your complex sugars, which we would class as carbohydrates, or what most people would know to be starches. All right. Okay. So that would be your ground provision, your potatoes, your eddos, those substances, those are sugars. But most people don't think that they are sugar. Right. And believe because of that, you could consume more of it and it would not have a negative effect on the body. And that's where the mistake comes in. So when people say, and one of the reasons I did this topic was because a lot of people would contact me and say, well, I don't consume sugar. And I would ask them, so what do you eat? And they would start off by saying they would have bread, and they would have rice, and they would have potatoes and ground provision. So they don't know why the blood sugar level is high. I say, but your whole diet is sugar. Right. Because most people don't know that those things are sugar as well. All right. The body is just a more complex sugar, but the body interprets it the same way. Right. Now, when we look at sugars now, glucose is 80% of glucose is metabolized by your body. So when you consume glucose, your body can easily utilize 80% of it. 20% of it could only be metabolized by your liver. So that's not too bad. All right. Fructose, which is a type of sugar, that could only be metabolized by your liver. So in other words, it is basically toxic for the body because the cells of the body cannot metabolize it and only your liver can, right? So fructose is a problematic sugar. Now here is the thing. You would hear people saying that fruits are good. If you are diabetic, fruits is not an option for you. Now, here's something that people need to know. According to America data, only 10% of the American population has a healthy performing metabolism, right? Only 10%. That means 90% of the American population have difficulty converting foods that they consume into the energy and into the nutrients that the body needs, because your metabolism has to do with that process in the body, that chemical process where when you consume something, your body can chemically break it down and manipulate it into something that your body can utilize. Only 10% of the US population, their body doesn't have difficulties in doing that. Wow. Now, we could take that information, because Trinidad is usually in that same category as the US. We actually usually always a little bit worse than the US, sad to say, right? But we'll go with the 10%. So 10% of Trinbagonians have a healthy functioning metabolism, right? So that means 90% of this population need to stay away from fruits, right? Now that's something weird, eh? You know, say, what you mean? Sucrose is 50% glucose and 50% fructose. Fructose is the sugar, sucrose is the sugar found in fruits. 50% glucose, 50% fructose. Remember, 80% of the glucose your body can utilize, and 20% the liver has to metabolize. The other 50%, which is from the fructose, 100% of that the liver has to metabolize. Now, when it goes to that whole, what we will call the Krebs cycle and whatnot, and it starts to break it down, it is going to form what the liver has to break down, that is going to produce uric acid. Uric acid and a buildup of uric acid is what would cause fatty liver disease, right? fatty liver disease affects the liver function. Now, the function of your liver is to deal with toxins, right? Your liver helps clean your blood, right? It helps deal with toxins. Now, when you're consuming fruits and you're confused, especially consuming fruits in excess, or you have metabolic issues with the metabolization of the foods that you consume, you are damaging your liver. When your liver is damaged, your liver is what produces cholesterol. Right? When your cholesterol goes out of sync because your liver is damaged, your cholesterol is responsible for many functions of the body. Every single cell in the human body needs cholesterol. Your brain is over 65% cholesterol. If you remove the water mass from your brain, the solid mass left behind is 90% cholesterol.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So your liver has an important role in cholesterol production, right? So much so that your liver produces over 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol per day, right? Per day. So it has an important role and an important function, all right? So the liver is of extreme importance to the body. Now, when we are consuming fruits, we are damaging the liver. Your liver is responsible for your body's ability to produce bile. Bile is responsible for your body's ability to break down fats, right? So if the liver goes off because somebody is consuming too much sugar, you are affecting even how your body can burn fats. So when people are there and they have stubborn fat that they find can't go, it could well be that your liver is not functioning correctly because you are over-consuming these saccharides, these sugars, these carbohydrates, and that is causing problems with the body, right? So people need to stay away if they don't have proper metabolic health, which is 90% plus of the country. They need to rest the fruits. Somebody like me that have excellent working metabolic process, I might still consume fruits a few times for the year, right? Sometimes 3 or 4 times for the year, right? I don't do it on a regular basis, right? But here we are, people are consuming fruits, but not just fruits, but many tropical fruits, which are high sugar. So we love to hit the mangoes. Mangoes, wow, the level of sugar in mangoes. We love to hit the mangoes and the pineapples and stuff like that. And we wouldn't go for the little, if they do have to get in something, they wouldn't go for the little berries because berries are a small thing. You can pack in too much sugar, you know? So we go in for the high sugar stuff. So when people say fruits healthy, fruits, I always say fruits is like an egg sitting on a fence. It could go anyway. It could drop any side, right? It could be healthy, it could be unhealthy. It depends on your metabolic health and the quantity of the amount of fruits that you get in. Some people might say, well, you need fruits in order to get in vitamin C, not understanding that the sugars in fruits compete with the same transporters of vitamin C.
Wow.
So when you're thinking, okay, eating foods to get in vitamin C, the body has difficulties using the vitamin C because the sugar is competing with the transporter of the vitamin C. Yep. Competing with the transporter of the vitamin C, right? So, you know, we all just have this thing that fruits are so healthy, right? But like I said, it depends on the health of the individual that's consuming it and the volume at which they are consuming it. And most people overdo it. Because I remember years ago, I was watching a documentary. This was around 2009. I was watching a documentary. It's a health documentary. And a woman said she's overweight and she said she have done everything. She tried all the diets. Nothing worked. She just doesn't lose weight. So she believes she have a slow metabolism. So did they put her in a lab to check her metabolism, everything. Her metabolism is normal. Right? She doesn't have a slower metabolism than everybody else. So they told her to track what she's eating and document it when the day comes. Right? And they would also be tracking it as well. So when they tracked it now, and she brought in her report, she said she had 1 serving of fruit, 1 serving of this one. When they check with their cameras and whatnot, her 1 serving is actually 3 servings. She tripled the servings of everything and classed it as 1 serving. Wow. Right? So sometimes you give somebody an inch and they take a yard. Yeah. Right? So it's not that some people's metabolism is slow, it's that they are over-consuming. Right? Now, people that have done a test and it shows that their metabolism is slow, now you have to ask why that metabolism is slow. Right? Sugar consumption slows down your metabolic process. All right. A lack of activity slows down your metabolic process. If you are inactive, your body would be like, well, why I need to burn more energy? So it would lower your metabolic rate, or what we call the basal metabolic rate. That would reduce, right? But the problem is when someone, due to lack of activity, when their metabolic rate reduces, they are still consuming the same volume of food that they have been consuming when their metabolism was higher, right? So now you're getting all these excess, and what are people's choice? Most people's choice is sugary foods, and therefore you're getting more excess of that, so your insulin resistance is going to go up. When there is too much sugar in your bloodstream, and I remember I spoke about with salt, right? So when people's salt intake is too low, the body ability to get rid of acid and sugar is compromised. So you can't get rid of enough. And then if you're over-consuming sugar now, your body is going to be like, well, there's so much sugar in the bloodstream. What can I do to help save this person's life or save their own life, right? It would start to push the sugar into the interstitial fluids and store it as fat. So it pushes it out of the bloodstream and stores it as fat, because that storing of fat is the body trying to save your life. The fatter you are, it means the sicker you are, and the more your body is trying to save you, right? By storing more and more fat. So your body is trying to save your life by storing more and more fat, because your sugar consumption is too high, right? So these are the things that we don't know and we're not aware of. And when you check foods, there's so much of sugar in foods. Now, some might say, well, which sugar is the best sugar? I usually say none, right? I always say everybody needs sugar. Your body can produce its own sugar. There's a process called gluconeogenesis, where if your body needs sugar, it can produce sugar on its own. Okay. Right? So your body can take protein and convert it into sugar through that process called gluconeogenesis. Right? So that can happen. So you literally don't need to consume sugar. Right?
I have a question here. Gladys Miller is asking, what about the fruits with the low glycemic index?
Right. And this is what I was talking about, like with berries, right? And still people do overconsume. That's the issue. So people can have a little bit if they fall into that 10% category of having a healthy metabolism. Right. But like I said, 90%. If you have, how do you know? So the question is, how do you know if you have a good and healthy metabolism? You have to be healthy, right? Now, from what I have observed is a lot of people think they are healthy, but most people don't have a clue what health is or what being healthy is. So some people say, I'm healthy. I just have a little high blood pressure, or I just suffer with migraines, right? Or I don't sleep good, right? And they class managing a disease or managing an illness as being healthy. Healthy is not being able to manage your illness. Healthy is being someone that has no illness or no illnesses to manage. Right? So that is what being healthy is. You have no illnesses to manage. You can't be suffering with migraine and think you're healthy. You aren't. Right? You can't have irregular, when I say irregular sleeping patterns, meaning you're jumping up or you're waking up every 30 minutes, right? That's not healthy. If you're getting up in the night every couple minutes or every half hour or so to urinate, that's not healthy. That's an indication that something is off with the body. Why does the body have to be waking you up in the night, right, for you to eliminate waste? Because that's what urination is, right? So the body is eliminating acidity. So why are you jumping up in the night? Something is off with the body that's causing that to happen, all right? When I go to sleep, the only time I might wake up is if somebody call, right? And other than that, when I wake up, I don't have to wake up to urinate. What I realize is whenever I do get up, that's when my body say, all right, now you could go and urinate. So I will wake up in the morning, and that's when I would go and urinate. But a lot of people have to jump up out of their bed to go and urinate. Children that are pee in the bed, bedwetters, right? Children, I think sometimes children have it a little hard because children are at the mercy of their parents, right? So they don't know, so they just consume whatever the parent gives them to consume. And what you see, I'll just give you a quick example. I remember sometime I saw a client in San Fernando with a whole set of snacks in her hand. And as they see me, they don't wait for me to ask them anything. Oh, it's not for me, it's for the kids, right? So that's the response. And I would respond with, so if it's not good for you, you think it's good for the kids? You know, children, bodies are still developing. So if these snacks not good for the adults, how is it good for the kids? It's not good for the kids at all, right? So it's not good for the kids at all whatsoever. So we need to be mindful of what we are putting into our body and what we are feeding our children. So children that are wet in the bed, they are not wet in the bed because they just don't have bladder control. It is the body saying that they are building up too much acidity, and the body has to release that acidity as soon as possible, right? So that is why they're wet in the bed. If not, they would sleep through the night, and only when they wake up, then they would need to urinate. So we have to understand what health is.
No, that making sense, because there are some children. No, I can look at my two boys, and one would sleep through the night, and when he wakes up, he uses the washroom, and the other one, he just got to go like about 2-3 times, throughout the night. So, I never really sat and wonder, okay, why did one have to go during the night and the other one didn't have to? I never really thought about it. But
and these are things you don't think about.
Yeah. Let me drop another question, all right? So Leah back when he is saying, so what do we eat? She's hearing that, we need to keep away from this, that, and the other, including fruits, because a lot of people would have a diet based on fruits. Imagine that. And you're saying that fruits, depending on your metabolism, you shouldn't consume much fruits, depending on who you are, how healthy you are, how your body functions. So what do we eat?
All right, so that's where I comment with regards to fat. Just address something I saw in the comments here. Somebody said they only eat organic food or fruits and vegetables, right? So, sometimes people need to ask, what's the difference between organic and inorganic? And they might say, well, it doesn't use pesticides and stuff, so you don't get the residual pesticides on the food, right? Now, according to the American Council of Science and Health, the residual pesticides that people are avoiding from inorganic foods, right? The plant itself, the organic plant itself, produces 10,000 times more pesticides than the pesticides sprayed on it, right?
Crazy, but
10,000 times more pesticides than the pesticides sprayed on it. So when you think you're going organic, thinking you're getting away from the pesticides, you're getting away from one, but you're getting in 10,000. Right? So it doesn't actually make a difference going organic from inorganic. It doesn't really make a difference. The difference is 0.00001, right? Difference, right? That which is not much. Right? But psychologically, you think it's better, right? And of course, the people producing it could sell you it at a higher price. So now you think you get through, right? You get through, you're eating healthy and whatnot. No, you're still getting in the toxins. You are still getting in the toxins. All right. So these are things that a lot of people don't know, they aren't aware of. All right. Now, with regards to what people can't eat, when it comes to energy, right? When it comes to energy, something people don't know. Fats provide more than twice the energy of sugar.
Wow.
Healthy fats provide more than twice the energy of sugar without the side effect. Now, when I say healthy fats, I am talking about saturated fats.
Okay.
So I would explain fats, right? You have two types of fats, saturated and unsaturated fat. Under the unsaturated fat category, you have the monounsaturated fat and the polyunsaturated fats. So I would just quickly explain the difference within the tree there. All right. So saturated fats, and what is the difference between saturated fats, unsaturated fat, and polyunsaturated fat, has to do with the carbon molecules. All right. So the molecules in saturated fats, they have four sites of four connection sites, right? So like a circle, and you have east, west, north, and south. So you have those connection sites. Three of those sites are filled with hydrogen molecules, and one site is filled with another carbon molecule, all right? And that's how it goes. So you're going to get carbon bonds, carbon bonds, carbon bonds, and you can have a chain of up to 16 carbon bonds. Now, because each site are perfectly spaced and the energy is distributed correctly, that carbon link is very stable, very stable. Now, what people don't understand is that fat is used as fuel, and fuel is heat. So a calorie is a unit of measuring heat. So 1 calorie provides enough heat or enough energy to boil 1 millimeter of water, or to increase the heat of water, of 1 millimeter of water, by 1 degree, right? So that is what a calorie is, right? It's a unit of measuring energy, all right? Now, saturated fats are stable because the energy is equally distributed on all sides. So it is straight, right? So it is straight. Now, when it comes to monounsaturated fats, it has a double carbon bond. So which means the energy that's being distributed is you're going to have, instead of the east, west, north, and east, west, north, and south, you're going to have east, west, north. Because there's a double carbon bond, it takes the energy and it's connected. That connection site now joins two. So you have a double carbon bond. So it becomes unstable because the energy isn't equally distributed. So when that is heated, right, it's so unstable, it falls into the category of what they call reactive oxygen species, which causes oxidation in the body, and that causes inflammation, all right? But a polyunsaturated is basically a saturated chain that has one double carbon bond in between the links.
Wow.
A polyunsaturated fat has a multiple double carbon bonds, which makes it even more unstable, all right? So especially polyunsaturated fats, which you get from the cooking oils, the seed oils, the avocado oil, the olive oil, the flaxseed oil, soybean oil, canola oil. All these oils are polyunsaturated fats. Now, all fats have some percentage of saturated, monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated, right? All fats. So the percentage is what you have to look at. Ones that have majority polyunsaturated, like the vegetable oils and the seed oils, those are the dangerous one. And where the danger comes in, it has two factors or two areas in where the danger comes in. And those two areas has to do with how they produce or extract the oil. So when it comes to those vegetable oils, how they extract those oils, they use a chemical called hexane. Hexane is in the petrochemical category. It's similar to kerosene.
Wow.
That's right. So that's what they use to extract the oils out of. Right? Yeah, that's what they use to extract the oil out of these seeds and these vegetables. Right now, when they extract that oil, You cannot use that. It is poisonous, very dangerous to use. So then they have to go through a whole degumming process. They have to, deodorize and it's a whole list of stuff they have to do to it in order to try to extract some of the hexane from it. They don't extract all. They can't extract all. All right. So you're still getting in a petrochemical in your oils, right?
Olive oil.
Right. So I see someone asks about olive oil. If you have to get or use any oil, you would have to get cold press, extra virgin oil, and you better not cook with it. These oils cannot handle heat. Once you heat them, they are not designed to handle heat. Now, some might say, well, that's better. It's better in that way or in that manner, right? Now, this is the problem with the coconut oils and the olive oils or the cold press extra virgin stuff. The problem is, remember I mentioned before that plants have toxins in them, right? So by going through the refining process, which is through the hexane, it takes out those toxins, but it becomes toxic itself. It's damaged. It's damaged polyunsaturated fat. It's going to cause inflammation, guaranteed, right? So then you go cold press. And when you go cold press, you are getting all the plant-based pesticides, the natural plant-based pesticides that it has in it, in the extra virgin oils, right? So you are substituting one problem from the other problem. So some might say, well, best you just don't get, polyunsaturated fat. No, the truth of the matter is, right? The truth of the matter is that the way you're supposed to get in your polyunsaturated fats is by eating your seafoods.
Oh,
so you're eating fish,
okay.
You're eating fish, you're eating your shellfish, you are going to get them in. This is why with sushi, you look at the Japanese, they barely ever cook their fish.
Right.
If they cook their fish is very low heat, or they might throw some hot water on it and they will eat the sushi, right? And we wonder why the Japanese are so healthy. It's because they barely put heat to their seafoods. They barely put heat to it. You see them eating octopus and they eat the octopus raw, right? Yes, avocado oil as well. So you will see them with the raw octopus, they would consume most of their seafoods. They consume it either raw or they just apply a little bit of heat to it, right? So, and the heating has to do with the smoking point, because all the polyunsaturated fats, all the fats have certain smoking points. When they start to smoke, you know that you have damaged them, all right? So little heat. And if you use little heat to it, it would preserve the polyunsaturated fats. So get your polyunsaturated fats from the animal itself. So eat your fish, eat your shellfish, eat your seafoods, and you would get in your omega-3, 6, 9s, and whatnot, right? You would get them in, and they would be undamaged and stable, right? But if you get them in from the refined version, right, that's a problem from the refined version.
So somebody asks, what should we use for cooking?
Mm-hmm. For cooking, right, so this is where the saturated fat comes in now. The saturated fats which you get from butter, and you could get from ghee. Some people actually collect fat from the animals, right? And you use that for cooking, right? So you could use that for cooking. Ghee has a very high smoke point, so ghee can tolerate more heat than other oils, many other oils, and it is very, very stable because it is a saturated fat, so it doesn't have those double carbon bonds. So it is stable, and this is why they stay solid at room temperature. You could take the cooking oils and you could put it in the freezer and they would still remain liquid, right? Because they are unstable, right?
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so this is, so you want to get in, if you have to cook, you could use ghee, you could use butter, right? Now, when I say butter, not margarine, margarine is trans fat, which means when I talk about the carbon bonds, man has added in an extra with the double carbon bond, they have forcefully added in an extra hydrogen bond. So that is a trans polyunsaturated fat, because man manipulated it. So that sends up your LDL levels and lower your HDL levels and increases your triglyceride levels, because it's not natural. It's not natural. All right. Somebody asked about with bacon fat. I would say if you can get the pork belly itself, because if you read the ingredients of bacon that they sell in the store, you will see a lot of additives and a lot of sugar that they add into it. So personally, I would buy pork belly and have them cut it in strips for me. And that's what you get bacon from. So yeah, so pure cow ghee, that's one of the best things. People would order different beef tallow, duck fat, and different fats from animals. People would order. These things are selling online and stuff now. So you could order it if you want different flavor in your food. You could order these things. So these are healthier sources because it's saturated fat and it's stable. They said the increase of saturated fats, if you increase your saturated fat consumption by 3%, I believe it is. This was in 2007, this study came out, right? I think it's by the medical journal. If you increase your saturated fat consumption by 3%, it reduces your risk of strokes by 15%.
What?
Right? Yeah, by 15%, right? And today now we're hearing something completely different. And where is the data and studies for them to show it? That's the problem I'm having with today. They're making all these recommendations and they don't have nothing to back it, right? And all these studies that are out there shows something else, all right? No, so saturated fats is not bad. Saturated fats were wrongfully labeled as bad because people associate, okay, we're seeing saturated fats, we're seeing fats building up in your arteries. So therefore, if you consume the fats, if you consume dietary fat, that is what causes it in the arteries. That is wrong, right? The same way a cow eats grass. So how is it that a cow gets fat from eating grass, right? We forget that there's a metabolic process. So not because you eat something that's fat means your body is going to just store it the same way. There is a metabolic process. Right? Your body can break down fat and it can convert fat into ketones. And ketones provide more than twice the energy of sugar with none of the side effects. And every single cell in the human body can use ketones as fuel. Every single cell. So this is why people find I'm so energetic, but there isn't an ounce of sugar in my diet at all whatsoever. None. No carbohydrates. No potatoes, no ground provision, nothing of the sort is in my diet. But here I am, full of energy, right? I'm
seeing Gladys Miller saying for a long time it was said that all fats are bad. And as she said that, I remember seeing something going up in the chat saying at one point in time, I think Denison McIntyre said that, the doctors in the United States said that the egg yolk is bad for you, and now they are saying the entire egg is good for you.
It's good for you.
So one time, something is bad, but then it's good, and then one is bad, and then no, it's good. Because I've been growing up here, and this is bad. Then you hear doctors saying, no, this is good. Because I've been confused a lot as to what is bad and what is good, so much that I don't care. I just start eating anything because I don't know what is bad and what is good.
Yeah, they have confused people a lot. They have confused people a lot. And that has to do with a lot of corruption in the industry. It's all about who is sponsoring the studies, right? Because the supervisor of the studies, if that person is being paid by a certain company that has particular interest in the study going one way or the other, they reject the studies that are against. So I remember reading some articles written by directors, people that were editors of medical journals, right? That they retired now. And they said many of these studies that are out there showing that this is bad or this is bad and this is good, is out of the studies, only 15% of the studies was for the product and 85% of all the studies was against it. But because of the financing, because of the financing, they went with the 15% because they needed to get the financing.
What?
right? So they went with the 15%. Yes, and these are things that are actually documented and it's written there. When I could send you the information when I'm finished here. So that's how things have been done with a lot of studies. So what I tell people is, especially with regards to eggs, egg. This was my simple logic, and I could break down the science to it, but I'll just give you simple logic. You have an egg. From this one egg, you're going to get a living creature. How is this bad? This have everything in it to produce life. How is this bad to consume? Right? Just that simple logic. This thing turns into a living creature, which means it's going to be nutritionally dense. Right? How is that bad and dangerous to consume? That's just that simple logic. Just using that simple logic, you'll realize how good eggs are. And eggs has one of the highest bioavailability of protein than any other food source. The only other food source that have a higher bioavailability of protein than eggs is breast milk. And the difference is just by 1%. Right? Just by 1% breast milk beat eggs, right? So eggs is classed as a superfood. Eggs is classed. Now, here's the thing. If you separate the yolk from the egg and you eat the egg white only, now you have compromised the egg, right? You have compromised the egg, and therefore the egg white by itself is not healthy. You must have it with the yolk. Right? So you must consume the whole egg to get the true benefit. In fact, most of the protein in the egg is in the yolk anyway. All right. So, and then the yolk also have all the the different fats and all the good stuff, all the good stuff. Right. So consume your whole eggs. Wow. And you would come out a lot better. A lot better. All right. So
I know you won't be able to diagnose people, especially you're seeing just information coming out on the chat, but somebody had in the chat, when they reduce the intake of sugar, their head start feeling light. They wanted to know what you think might be the cause of that. I mean, we don't want to just put information out there and say, okay, this is what you're dealing with, this is what you're suffering with, but the person was asking, what you think might be the problem when they reduce the intake of sugar, they start getting lightheaded.
Right. So now when you cut out sugar from the body, because the body was functioning off of sugar for so long, the body, it takes sometimes 48 hours for the metabolic process to switch to the next energy source, which is ketone. So that could take a little while. One of the things that would cause that lightheadedness as well is due to their lack of salt consumption. So their sodium levels would be low. And because their sodium levels would be low, that would increase your body's insulin resistance, and it would increase blood pressure. So that can lead to headaches. Lower amount of electrolytes in the body would affect the nervous system, and that can also cause that whole lightheadedness. So people need to make that transition by increasing their fat consumption so that the body now has a readily available source of energy there, all right? And they need to get in their salt. So there's something that they would call the keto flu. Keto flu, where a lot of people who have transitioned to the ketogenic diet, right? They would experience, some people would experience, like for the first week or so, they might experience feeling nauseous or lightheaded. And that's due to a lack of salt.
Let's put a pin on keto flu. Let's take a call coming in here. A pleasant good morning. You're live on Labor. What question do you got for our guest Chetwayo this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I did a quick call here.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought him back on to shed some light on some of this stuff, because the first time when I saw it, it was like, okay, I had to take everything with a pinch of salt. So I still have to view it over. But it's really good that you did bring him back on. I'll have to listen it over though, because I'm getting ready for work. So I will call you back or text you back or something.
All right.
But I'm glad for his explanation. So bye.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. All right. Yep. So keto flu. We were on that.
Mhm.
Let's see what's going
Mhm.
on with that one.
Yeah, so keto flu is just simply due to sodium consumption being too low.
Right.
Most people have a sodium chloride deficiency. So their sodium levels are too low. For years, we have been told, reduce salt, reduce salt, reduce salt. Salt causes high blood pressure. What did their studies show? Studies from the NIH shows the opposite. A lack of salt causes high blood pressure. Why is the medical world still pushing and promoting reduce salt, reduce salt, reduce salt? I have no clue, right?
Wow.
I really and truly do not have a clue, right? But when you get sick and you go to the hospital, they put you on drips. It's a saline solution. Why, right? Telling you, reduce your salt in your daily life, but when you get sick, they put you on salt water. That, as you know, the saying goes, the math's not maxing, right? So something is really off there, really, really off there, all right? Somebody is asking to bring me on every week. I actually can't because I actually had to shift around session this morning.
I begged the man to cancel our appointment. I actually begged the man to cancel our appointment to come back here, guys. Wow. But I'm reading something here, Chet, and this one is very interesting, right? Because Shaman is saying, when we were small, you know, we used to eat pork fat, beef fat, chicken fat, because the parents used to cook it. And when they get older, they say it's not good, cut it out. And now we're hearing it was good all along. So she's saying that the parents actually used to cook that for them to consume as children. As she grew, she started hearing, okay, it's not good. But it didn't start affect them when they were younger?
Exactly. So a lot of clients I'm having now, which are people who have been, you know, vegan and vegetarian and stuff for 30, 40 years. When I tell them and I explain all this to them, just like, you know, when I was young, all says the same thing. They used to eat a lot of pork fat and beef fat. They all say the same thing. Yeah. But then they get old and they tell you, oh, it's not good for you, right? If you remove fat consumption, you're affecting your energy supply.
Right.
So what are they going to replace that energy supply with? They're going to replace it with sugar. Now, this mere fact that sugars, especially high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, fructose could only be metabolized by the liver. It means that your body interprets it as a toxin because only your liver can metabolize it. So your body is like, this is a toxin. What is alcohol? Alcohol is basically a poison. Alcohol is basically drinking inflammation, right? So I would say alcohol is inflammation in a bottle. Right? But what is alcohol? You get alcohol, you just fermented sugar. That is what alcohol is, fermented sugar. Right? So it's a toxin. So the body your liver tries to metabolize this, get this out fast. That's what the body is doing, right? Alcohol is so toxic to the body that your body would stop the digestion of food in your stomach just to metabolize alcohol to get it out.
Hold on. Say that over again.
Alcohol is so toxic to the body that your body would stop digesting food that you have in the stomach, in order to metabolize alcohol to get it out of the body.
What?
Right? This is why you realize when people, if you are a drinker, they smell like alcohol.
Yeah.
Because it's coming through their pores. It's your body trying to get it out of your system as fast as it can.
Oh.
Right? So when they tell you with the breathalyzer, if you go to a party, wait an hour, right, before you drive. It's because your body is saying, I need to get this poison out within the hour, right? So the body is trying its best, but then people drink so much, even within the hour, it can't get out all.
Jeez.
Right?
Jeez.
So you don't want to consume alcohol. You would be drinking inflammation.
Wow.
Right? It is toxic to the body. Right? Toxic.
No.
Right? So these are the things that most people don't know and they aren't aware of. And then we wonder why we are so unhealthy. Right? Why are we so unhealthy? And we just don't have a clue. If we go back, right? For those that believe in with chronological mapping of mankind, they said 5 million years, humans have ate animal foods.
Right.
Why, in just the past 200 years now, we say that animal food's not good, right? So here's the funny part. In that 200 years, ischemic heart diseases and all diseases just start going up, right? So the moment we just drop off animal-based foods, all diseases just start skyrocketing. I don't know if I mentioned the last time, but childhood obesity and overweight statistics in Trinidad in 2001 was at 12%. Want to take a guess at what percentage it is today? Take a guess. Throw out a figure.
Over 50.
Over 56%, almost 60%. So how in 2001, how in 20 years, where the world is going more vegetarian and vegan?
Right.
How in 20 years, after going more vegetarian and vegan, overweight and obesity statistics among children has jumped by over 40%, over 44%. Right? That is not even a natural incline. That is an assisted incline.
Right.
That's an assisted incline. That's crazy. Right? If it had gone like 13, 14%, we would say, well, we still struggling and trying to. But 56%, that means there was no hindrance. It was helped. It was helped to get worse. So over more than half the children under the age of 18 in Trinidad and Tobago are either overweight or obese. And it's not a lack of activity. It's not a lack of activity. I can tell you that because I am very lazy, right? I can tell you. I told you I worked out this morning. You know what I did?
What?
I did one chin-up. One. And that was my workout, right? One chin-up, that took how long, right? A couple of seconds. And well, let's look at animals in nature. Look at a lion. Lions lays around and sleep 16 to 20 hours a day, but look how muscular they are. Right? They are muscular because they are eating a diet that is specific to their species. Humans are the only creatures that believe we can eat everything without repercussion. You know, it had a time in history where they fed cows a food source that was different than their species-specific diet. We know cows that eat plant-based foods.
Yeah.
But had a point in history where they fed cows meat. You know what was the outcome of that? Guess what was the outcome? Mad cow disease. The cause of mad cow disease was the feeding meat to herbivore animals.
Jeez.
That was the cause of mad cow disease. So when you feed an animal a diet that isn't specific to their species, right? Not saying that meat bad to eat, Meat is excellent for a lion, right? If you give a lion grass to eat, oh gosh, you're going to cause health issues in the lion.
Right.
Same if you give a cow meat to eat. Humans are the only creatures in existence that believe they can eat anything without repercussion. But what is human beings plagued with? Mental health and physical health disorders, all linked to our nutrition. Every single last one of them, all linked to our nutrition. How you feel, your mood, right, is mostly regulated by serotonin. Serotonin is produced in your guts. 95% of serotonin in the human body is produced in your gut.
Okay.
Only 5% is produced by the brain.
Okay.
Right? And that regulates your mood. Do you know what affects serotonin production and reduces serotonin production? Sugar. Right? So if you consume sugar, right? If you consume sugar, your body is going to reduce its serotonin production. That is going to affect your mental stability. Right? So these are things many people aren't aware of. So your mental health is closely related to your, your nutritional health. How addictive? Sugar is 8 to 9 times more addictive than cocaine.
Jeez.
8 to 9 times more addictive than cocaine. So I tell people, would you give your child cocaine? They would say no. And then I would ask them, so why are you giving them sugar?
Right.
And look at something. This is where it comes back on parenting. A lot of people give their child sugar because it keeps them quiet. Because they're high. It keeps them quiet because the child is high. Right? So parents that don't want to develop or give the child the necessary attention that the child needs and focus on spending time with the child, going outside and being active with your child, playing with your child, they'll give the child sugar, give them a tablet. So you give when I say tablet, not medication, you give them a tablet so they just they hold it and they eat the sugar and they're quiet because they're high and they're inside the virtual world there. So they're barely moving up. The only thing getting work out is the index finger and the thumb, right? That's the only exercise they're getting, right? And they're consuming all this sugar. So they are now high and their metabolism is going to drop while they are consuming way more calories. So they are going to start blowing up and putting on more and more weight. If you go back and look at videos from in the 60s and before, and you see PE in the US, how it was, you swear it's military training, no? But everybody was fit. Yeah. If you see a PE class, it would be like, this can't be a PE class that look like military training. But everybody fit and doing it. Look back at old time movies and watch the background. Everybody slim. Everybody slim. Watch a movie today now and watch the background. Right? Everybody overweight.
So what you have to say about what people consider as a balanced diet? You have a little bit of so we have this talk. You could eat everything in moderation. What do you have to say about that?
Right. So that's a misconception. Does a cow eat in moderation?
Okay.
No, it doesn't. What about a mosquito? Can we give a mosquito, let's say, some meat or some bread, right? Like I said, every creature have a diet that's specific to their species.
Okay.
Right. So it's not that plants not good, Plants just not good for humans, but it's good for other creatures. Right? Not that meat not good, Meat just not good for some creatures, but it's good for other creatures. Blood, drinking blood, right? That, you might say it's not good, but it's just not good for some creatures, but other creatures, that is all they can consume. Right. Every creature have a diet that's specific to their species, right? And we humans need to stick with the diet that's specific to our species. What you would never find cow in the West saying, well, I would eat plants. And cow in the East say, well, I different because all cows different. This is what humans have to say. Everybody different. So cows say everybody different. So I can eat some meat, right? Yeah. You don't see that in the animal kingdom, right? You don't see that in the animal kingdom. The only other sickest set of animals that we see are human pets,
right?
Right? Our pets, because we believe we know what's best for them to eat. So you buy the puppy chow that have all, more organic stuff in it, right? Dogs supposed to eat meat. A dog have a 14% gastrointestinal tract capacity to facilitate the fermentation of plants. 14%. Right. This is why when they eat grass, they throw up. Right. Humans only have a 17% capacity. Cats, lions, all those things have a 16% capacity. Humans have a 17%, 1% difference. So why is our diet 95% plant-based?
Right.
It shouldn't be, right? So we are here wondering why we are sick. We do not have the digestive system for the consumption of any high volume of plant-based foods. It should not be the major part of our diet.
Right.
Right? And that's the problem. Definitely should not be the major part of our diet. People need to, especially people that already have damaged metabolic processes, the gastrointestinal system is compromised, they need to stay away. They need to get on a proper nutritional program to heal their body. So there are people with Crohn's disease, which is something that says incurable. All these things are fixable. All these conditions are fixable, right? Things like, let me mention this, things like cancer. If people understand cancer is easily reversible, right? Cancer is easily, people might say, oh, you just say, cancer is easily reversible. It has to do with the pH balance in the extracellular matrix, right? Your pH balance is supposed to be at 7.4, but when that goes down and start going down, that puts the body in an acidic state. When you reach down to 7.35, that's usually a state of diabetes. You go under that, you could suffer from all sorts of diseases, including cancer, right? Including cancer. Cancer is easily fixable, but the easy fix state is not profitable, right? So nobody would make much money if they cure cancer. This is why I ask any doctor if they know of cases of people with stage 4 cancer that it randomly just disappeared.
Right.
They would tell you, yes, there are cases, and then they would ignore it, right? Oh. So how are people with stage 4, which they'll tell you is end-stage cancer? Once you're at stage 4, you're going to die. How there are people with stage 4 cancer and they're just up and gone? No treatment.
You know, I heard of a case. Well, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's someone that is pretty close. You know, the husband of my wife's coworker. I heard of a case where someone had cancer. I don't know at what stage it was, but he was visiting a doctor to get his radiation and chemo and all of that kind of stuff, and started to use baking soda. Started to use baking soda with some warm water, and I think it was molasses, something like that. But it had to do with baking soda, and in using that a little bit every morning. I don't know the quantity, I don't know the mixture, but after using it for a period of time, I think he got the remedy from some old people. You know, the old people have all the medication. After a period of time, when he went back to the doctor, the cancer literally shrunk, like almost to nothing. And the doctor was like confused, like really confused, like, what happened? What are you doing? What are you using? You know, so the doctor was confused, and it shows that cancer you could really use stuff that could help your body function the way it is supposed to and reduce the cancer.
You know, here's this. Remember you said baking soda?
Yeah.
Baking soda, the chemical term for it is sodium bicarbonate. Your body naturally produces sodium bicarbonate when you have adequate salt in consumption.
Wow.
Right? So by reducing salt, you cause a condition called hypochloremic acidosis, which is where your body cannot produce enough sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, your body naturally produces it. And that is the number one way in which your body reduces acidity. Which is what causes cancer. So to balance, remember I mentioned the extracellular matrix, the pH in the extracellular matrix has to stay at 7.4.
Yeah.
Your salt consumption is what keeps that at 7.4. You reduce salt from your diet, you end up with hypochloremic acidosis, and that activates a hormonal system called the RAA system, which stands for the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, where your kidneys starts holding on to water, your blood pressure goes up, and your insulin levels start to go up, insulin resistance start to go up as well. So a lack of salt causes serious damage to the human body. Wow. And that is what is one of the main ways in which cancer is formed, due to a lack of salt. That's one of the main things behind diabetes, apart from sugar consumption.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of the main reason behind arthritis. Right? That's one of the main reasons behind gout. Right? That's one of the main reasons behind pneumonia. Right? So, I mean, I could list and keep listing more and more diseases, right? And show you how a lack of salt, how important salt is. Salt is the king of mineral and nutritional sources. Salt is the king, the reigning king. There is nothing better than salt. And like I mentioned the last time, even when you check the Bible and you see how salt is mentioned,
right? Yeah,
you would see that it is of extreme importance. The concentration of salt in the ocean and the concentration of salt in the human body is supposed to be the same, right? The concentration of salt in the ocean and the concentration of salt in the human body is supposed to be the same. So that's why when you go to the beach and you go in the water, your nose starts to run because the body starts balancing itself.
So let me get that right. You say salt you say when it comes to the human body, the reaction salt has in the human body, it is not the reason for high blood pressure? Correct. I will send you the study by the NIH that shows that, right?
once the average size person, once you drop below 1.5 teaspoons of salt per day, right, it activates that RAA system, the renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. It activates that system. So salt consumption should never drop below 1.5 teaspoons. It can go much higher, right? So I always tell people, go up with your salt intake. Of course, stay away from the table salt. You go in the sea salts and look for salts that doesn't have anti-caking agents or additive in it. Some salts even have sugar in it. Yeah, I've actually checked the table of contents of some salts and I see it have sugar in it. And I'm like, wow, why are they putting sugar in salt? Right?
Wow. Well, look, we are taking a final question here. Is the keto diet recommended? This one is from Diane Marie Mohammed. Is the keto diet recommended?
Right. The thing is, people don't understand what keto diet is. And that's the problem, because there's the whole fat diet called the keto diet. Keto diet is supposed to mean a ketosis diet, a diet that keeps the body in a state of ketosis, where your body is using fat as the main source of fuel.
Right.
So if you're viewing it from that aspect or understanding, that is actually how humans are supposed to function. That's the diet a human being is supposed to be on. But these fat keto diets that I've seen out there aren't actually keto. Right? They're just using the term keto. Right. So people need to understand the true meaning of it. When you understand the true meaning of a keto diet, then sure, because they want the body to be in a state of ketosis. Now, people need to understand that there's a difference between ketosis and diabetic ketoacidosis, right? Those are two different conditions, right? Two totally different conditions.
So what are some, just briefly, what are some examples or an example of a keto diet?
Well, keto diet is a diet that has very low amount of sugar in it, high amount of fat, and high amount of protein in that diet. So you want to get in a diet that is more animal-based. You go along that road and you get in your fats. So most people always try to go for lean meats, and lean meats is an issue. If you go for lean meat and there isn't enough fat, it reduces the bioavailability of the meat, right? And that can be problematic. So fat is seriously needed. That's the main source of fuel. So get the sugar either very low or completely out of the diet, like myself. I mean, the less sugar in it, the better, right? And you should be good to go there, right? So, of course, people could contact me and sign up for my program, because that's what I do, nutritional coaching, right? So I help people understand nutrition and guide them with their nutrition. So that way, we all learn, we all edify each other, and we all benefit. Because healthier people, stronger people.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chetwayo, a nutritional coach. If you want to get more information about what diet you should be on, if you've been having an issue, no, for me, I could talk for me. No, I mean, Chet is a good friend of mine, and from the time we started, talking about diet and all that kind of stuff. He already explained to me what is happening with me, and, he would talk with me a bit. And I could tell you personally, I've been to several doctors, both private and public, and they gave me medication for an issue that I'm having. They gave me mild, they gave me stronger medication, they gave me medication, and none worked. No, I'm telling you guys this. I'm not telling you, I'm not recommending anything. We're not recommended, but I'm just amazed that why you giving me medication and stronger medication and none worked. None of them working. So I decided, okay, let me talk to Chetwayo and help me, to go on a diet. So if I don't have to take anything outside of natural food and so on, no medication, let me just try to eat different and see if it would work. So this is what I'm actually currently doing. I'm changing my diet because I need to get off the medication. If it's not working, it's not working. So for those of you who are in a similar position, you just want to change your diet, you want to lose weight, you want to, whatever it is that you're dealing with, contact Chetwayo. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram. His number will be on the screen in just a while. It has been displaying earlier. It will be on the screen. You can even contact him via his website and sign up for a session. Chet, tell them a little bit about the different sessions that you have available.
All right. So Well, let's have a range of sessions, but for simple consultation, that's 200 for 1 month program where you get nutritional coaching and you can communicate with me on a daily basis. If you're so pleased, that's $400. All right. That also gives you the option of online training as well, which is via Zoom. Right, so you could do online training, which is body weight exercises only. So it's a more holistic approach. So it's not just nutrition only, but you have the option of getting in exercise as well. Like I said, I train without the use of drugs, supplementation, or weights. And so you get that benefit also. For those that want more information, just message me on WhatsApp, send me a text message, and I will give you a list of all the options that I have available.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your boy, Chetwayo Lagua. That's what we're talking about. Great information, great information. And, you know, as he says, salt is really good for you. So the information that he gave to you, make sure you take it with a pinch of salt. All right, guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, blessings go out to Chet. And we want to thank God so much for blessing us with information like this. I know to some people and to me, ask him, you know, look, Chet is right here. And I've been telling Chet, I say, you know what, Chet, you're talking to me and my head's spinning because I real confused, my skull ripping. I've been telling him that up to last night. I've been telling Chetwayo that because I know some of you out there, you're probably really confused. And that is just how this life is. We get so much information here, there, everywhere, from people who know, from people who don't know, from people who want to make money off of you, from people who just, you know, we get so much information out there. We just got to settle down and sift. Sometimes we got to sift for ourselves and see what is really making sense. Because a lot of information that we get, we are not really seeing any proof behind it. We are not seeing anything behind it. We're just getting information. Okay, it comes from a doctor. It's good, you know, but you know, let's just sift through and see what is happening. If you get some information, see why or where it is coming from, or if it is really working, if it is actually working, you know. So, guys, I really appreciate Chetwayo for canceling his appointment this morning and taking the time to share with us. We went a lot over time, but I thought this was necessary. I needed to get my skull open up a little bit more, you know, because, yeah, for those of you who missed part of it, go over, watch the program. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Chet, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. God bless you, man. Continue to keep up the good work. And, you know, I don't know if you have any final words to share before you leave, but I really appreciate it. And I know the people appreciate it as well. So just keep up the good work. And thank you for coming on the program, bro.
No problem. Actually, I have clients messaging me now one day in my app. So, final words. Remember, as the good book said, we live in a time now where the first would become last, right, and the last would become first, and truth would be lies, and lies would be truth. I call it a world of inversion, a world of inversion. So a lot of things that we have been told to be true is the complete opposite. If you notice what I have been saying and proven, because I always say, if any doctor or nutritionist has to challenge me, please be healthier than me. There is none healthier than me, right? There is none in those fields healthier than me. None of them have been able to do what I've been doing, reversing type 1 and type 2 diabetes within a week. None of them have been able to do stuff like that. They are confused and baffled. People have been placed on medication for the rest of their lives, and then when they hire me within a month, they're off medication. Doctors are baffled. Why? Because I am just simply delivering truth. It's not about profit. It's not about that. I like truth, right? And not the inverted truth, or what they like to call now, you know, they coin the new term alternative truth. Right? So not that. Not all an alternative truth is a lie. Right? Alternative truth is a lie. So I hope people would, you know, be vigilant. And I am not forcing anybody to do anything. It is your choice. It is your choice. The people that are coming to me are people that have been fed up of decades of following what the medical world have said, and they are sicker, right? So they are just completely fed up, all right? So I hope you all have an excellent day. I do have to run. My clients are messaging. So I hope to come back on sometime in the future. I might have to make another cancellation some other time and see how it goes.
Right. Thanks a lot, Chet. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Later. Wow.
Will do. Take care.
Wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we got for you today. Chetwayo Borde, the man himself, delivering to us this morning once again. Wow, you know, this is just amazing. This is really amazing, you know. Sometimes...
Do you like this? 3, 2, 1.
You know, I saw Shamin, you know, talking about, you know, sometimes when her head is spinning, she just uses a little bit of salt and everything calms down. You know, it really opened my eyes to salt. You see, salt is something that I never thought had so much, I never gave so much attention to. I actually tried to keep away from salt, but it opened my eyes to salt. You know, this is really something else. So as I said, you know, do your own research. This is not something you rush into. You make sure about it and all of that. If you have medical conditions, underlying condition, you know, don't rush into anything. You know, take your time, sort out your information, talk to people, you know, and so on. But if you want, I know I'm seeing a lot of people with, you know, questions and so on there. Just know that if you if you have any
4,
questions,
3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up.
and you know, you can always...
Do you like this? Or this? Or even this? Come see us at these markets.
About you, it's your health, and sometimes we just got to take some time to you know, check up on our health and make sure is the right thing. All right, so to contact Chetwayo Borde, the number is 761-1952. all right, you can get him there. You can contact him via WhatsApp. You can call him up. That's providing he is not dealing with a client. You can call him up. You can also find him on Chetwayo at Gmail. You can send him an email message through there, or you can visit his website, www.chetwayosfitness.com. He's also on Facebook and on Instagram, so he's everywhere. Please feel free to contact him. If you are fed up taking medication like myself, you know, and you really want to, you know, try to use natural stuff, because all that he uses is natural stuff. All right, so if you're fed up and you just want to use natural stuff, you can contact Chetwayo Borde. Wow. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Blessings go out to you guys. Thank you for listening, and I pray that this information was helpful and it will go a long way to helping you live a better life. All right, so we got to close now. Be safe. Have a wonderful weekend. And if you have to look over the video, please look it over. If you have to share it, and you know people need the information, then go ahead and share it, because we just want people to live a better life. Have a wonderful day, guys. For those of you celebrating birthdays and anniversaries, happy anniversary, happy birthday, and may God continue to bless you guys. Let's close with a song. We went way over time trying to get some health information in. Let's close with a song this morning. May God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. You know, I just got to close with one of your favorites, so I'm going to do that. If it had not been for the Lord on my side, tell me where would I be? I'm your man, Leon Lewis. Thank you. Where would I be? And if it had not, have a great weekend, for the Lord on my side. Come on, tell me where would I be? This is Labor with Leo. Bye-bye. Where would I be? He kept my enemies away. He let the sun shine through a cloudy day, and he rocked me in the cradle of his arms when he knew that I was better than scarred. So if it had not been, for the Lord on my side, tell me where would I be? Tell me where would I be? Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you so much for all your support and all your blessings. Bye-bye.